Good evening. Welcome to the 12 Man Podcast live on Facebook, on the Red, and I suppose at 4 o'clock in the morning, wherever you want to listen to us at your own pleasure. Got me, Steve Jackson. I'm here as usual as your host. I've got two lads with me who rather enjoyed Saturday. I'm going to dissect that first. Mr. John Donovan's with us. Evening, John Don.
Now then, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm echoing. I echoed there as well. And we've got Mr. James Delgado. Evening, Dalit.
Oh, then, all right.
Oh, yes. Always good. So, we're going to talk Bristol City. Where did it go wrong? What's going wrong? I've had so many opinions on it. The amount of messages I got Saturday night was ridiculous. So, we'll go through them. Are we missing something, apart from the obvious? Is there something going on in the background we don't know about? We'll dive into it, and then we'll preview the two games this week. We've got Sheffield United at home. We've got a surprise guest. We've got Sheffield United at home, and we've got Norwich away. If that doesn't put fear up you, I don't know what doesn't. So, before we start though, as usual, are we all right?
All good, yeah. Thank you.
The hangover's wearing off from Saturday, so yeah.
Yes, we'll talk about your new chant in a little bit, so don't you worry about that. And yeah, we'll talk about the player himself as well. So, but 2 o'clock comes around, John Don, team comes out. We spoke last week. If a certain someone's fit and he's raring to go, he goes in. He's sat on the bench, but Morris is in. Is this okay? Well, the thing is, we can't even blame. He came back late from international duty because so did Morris. So why didn't Riley McGree start?
Well, obviously, the fitness coach, the decision was made that he probably didn't have enough in his tank to warrant a start of the game, but obviously he had enough to get named on the bench and then obviously make an appearance. But yes, I think you ask the vast majority of the Borough fans, and they would have wanted McGree in that starting lineup. But we don't know all the ins and outs. We don't know how much was taken out of him with his international games and all the travelling involved. So we just have to go with what with what's decided.
Yeah, I get that. I do get that, and obviously, we're not experts. That's why we do our 9-to-5 jobs, and they do their jobs. And fair play. But Dally, I'm struggling with it. I really am. Yeah, I mean, you're shaking your head. I'll let you crack on because you're obviously in the same position I am. If he's on the bench, he's fit enough to be on the bench, he should be starting for me.
100%. He was injured for a while, and he was back in the. I believe he was back in the squad on the bench for the Sunderland game. We get beat 1-0 at Sunderland. He's then back in the team against Stoke and West Brom, and we pull off back-to-back victories. And Hayden Hackney, who a lot of Sky pundits, a lot of media pundits are raving on about. I'll be honest with you, Hayden Hackney's had 2 good games this season for me, and they've both been when Riley McGree's played. You then go away to Watford, you don't play, and we get beat. For me, you've got to start your strongest team. So we've given him a rest before his international break. He's then okay, yeah, he's got long haul flight, but he's not flying EasyJet. He's not. He'll be in pure comfort on the plane. He'll get over there. Yeah, a bit of time difference, quite a bit of time difference to be fair, but he'll be acclimatised to that now. He's been doing it for how long? He then goes away. He's fit enough to play international football, and then he comes back. He's got to play.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. I couldn't get my head around it and say I purposely waited when I drove down, I purposely waited. I thought, right, I'll just wait to see the team. I'll wait to see the team. Not to say I wasn't going to go in. I was always going to obviously go in and watch the game. But I wanted to see the team to see what kind of performance or whatever was going to happen. And it just took a bit of life out of me. I thought we need McGree in, and I couldn't understand it, and I still can't.
I don't think he's the reason we got beat.
No.
Because it's the story of our season so far.
Yeah.
We outplay teams. We keep a lot of possession. We have a number of clear-cut chances that we're just not putting away, and then it goes up the other end, and it's a stupid mistake at the back. That's what's done us. The experience of McGree for me would have helped us through the game, but we've had chances in that game to win it.
Oh, gotcha. I mean, we'll go through the chances. I mean, the first one, John Don. I think everyone in the North Stand was waiting for that net to ripple when Azaz and Latte Laff had the defender 2-on-1, and Daly said it to me straight after the chance missed. If he's going, he goes by himself. If he's passing it, he's got to score. John, I don't know. I still don't know, and I've watched the highlights a few times. I don't know how he's missed. It's 6 months ago he scores that, doesn't he?
Absolutely, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. And like Dally says, it's deja vu all over again. Cut and paste. We're the architects of our own downfall. It's annoying. It's got beyond frustrating now. It's getting annoying. Teams are coming here and taking points from us, and they're not good teams. They're just professional, like workmen, like Bristol City weren't anything special. And like Dally says there, you look at stats for possession, for shots, for everything else, and we're miles ahead. And to miss 2 or 3 golden chances, which they weren't half chances, they were golden chances in the first half, and then to gift them 2 goals, and one especially on 47 minutes to send the fans into the concourse grumbling, to send the players into the dressing room thinking, how the hell do we get out of this? Terrible timing. Both avoidable goals, both terrible individual mistakes. But it's nothing new. It's nothing new. We've seen it so often this season, and we're 10 games in. We've got 14 points. We've scored 10 goals, despite having about 160 shots. It's getting to the time where it's not. Wednesday's game isn't crucial for our season. I would say it may be crucial for Michael Carrick, because the discontent will grow and grow if we don't start to get some consistent form.
You're absolutely right. We've been, if you look at the start of the season, so you said we're 10 games in there. So for the first 5 or 6 games, even though the results weren't really coming, they were coming in dribs and drabs. Everybody's mentality was, well, look where we were this time last season. We'll get the points on the board, and we'll get we've got more points on the board now than we did this time last season, and that we'll be able to build on confidence. We've got a good squad. We'll be all right. And then the next few games, it was, we're going to wallop a team. We are going to wallop someone 4 or 5. But it's getting to the point now where, I mean, is that the first time that Carrick's been booed off at half time and at full time? Carrick's team?
Yeah.
Because there's
very possibly.
I absolutely love Michael Carrick. I've loved watching the football to an extent since he's been here. But we go to Norwich on Sunday, and it's pretty much, give or take a week, 10 days. It's 2 years since we last went to Norwich, just before the World Cup, and Riley McGree scored a bicycle kick. Cooksey scored a last minute goal. The whole feel good factor was you could start to see something was building. Now you're 2 years down the line. Okay, we got to the playoffs. It didn't work out. We missed out on the playoffs last season. But tactically, if you watch him, we're always second to make the substitution. We're always watching what the opposition are doing, and it's like deja vu from watching the Euros in the summer under Gareth Southgate. You're thinking, we need to change this game. You're either at 0-0 or there's a goal in it. You need to change this game, because what you're doing for 60 minutes hasn't worked.
Yeah.
And there is no plan B. We're playing this way, and we're playing this way until the final whistle. And I think it's becoming frustrating. The tippy-tappy football is fantastic when you're 1-2-3 up, but when you're chasing games and it hasn't worked for 65 minutes, then it is becoming frustrating.
Is it becoming predictable? Do you think this is what the problem is? We're too predictable now.
Everybody's pretty much barring Stoke, who decided to try and play like us and got absolutely mullered. Teams have sussed out the way to beat us. Let us have the ball, let us have the opportunities, go and nick a goal, and then just dig in.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, let's go through the 2 goals, because there's so much I want to talk about regarding the stats and everything to go with it. Because there's one stat, I know it's an obvious one that's, apart from obviously the no goal, that sticks out, that is horrendous when you say it out loud. But first goal, John Don. One, why is Hackney playing a no-look pass to Morris? 2, why is then some of the players blaming DN? And then 3, why? For me, I like a professional to hold the hands up and go, right, my bad. I mean, we're going to talk about it in about 5 minutes' time. George Edmondson did that when we scored the second. He put his hands up. He said, my fault, sorry. Hackney walked straight to the halfway line. Didn't look at anyone. Didn't turn his back. Anything. He just walked the halfway line. But to go back to the mistake, why is he making that sort of pass in that sort of area when he knows we're under pressure?
Well, to be fair, you mentioned Dieng in that build-up, and Dieng can see everything in front of him. Dieng surely can see that if he plays the ball to Hackney on the 18-yard box, there's a Bristol City player bearing down on him. You know, surely there was other options. It was the centre of the goal, middle of the goal, 18-yard box. Yeah, okay. Hackney, he gave the ball away. He could have dealt with it better. But I still think that Dieng chooses a better option in that scenario. He looks elsewhere. But not only that, Hackney loses the ball, and then he tracks the man who eventually scores, and he goes to ground. He doesn't stand up and put himself between the goal scorer and the goal. He goes to ground. The guy just sidesteps him and smashes it as hard as he could. Goal bound. You know, I don't think he picked his spot. He just smashed it hard. But again, so many mistakes there, so many errors. And we've talked about this now throughout last season, already this season. Something's got to stop. Something's got to stop. I know Carrick likes to play that way. However, risk and reward, we're not getting a great deal of reward out of it at the moment. It just seems to be all risk. And, you know, maybe individual players should take responsibility. And yes, I know the gaffers asked me to play this way, but I think that's dangerous. So I'm just going to launch it, clear me lines, get rid, and then we'll win the ball back again. It's ridiculous. We should have been ahead that game quite easily before we gifted them that goal. But that absolutely knocked the stuffing out of any atmosphere within the ground that on Saturday. It absolutely killed us, didn't it?
I think you're right about the goal. I think if watching it back, I think if he can stand him, I don't think the player's going. Although he's given the no look pass, I think if he can just stay on his feet, the striker doesn't get his shot away.
Yeah.
But it's like you say, it's just deja vu every week. You go into games now thinking, well, you know, I'm not one for stats, but you know we're going to outpass people, we're going to keep the ball. But it's what we do with it. But these silly mistakes at the back. The big alarming thing for me when that goal went in was, as you touched on, Hackney, Morris, Doak, Lath, and Azaz all straight up to the halfway line. There was nobody, and the defence are all looking at each other, and there's nobody going around and rallying them together. Aylin's supposed to be our captain on that pitch, and he's supposed to be our leader, but there's nobody was get your head up, we go again. It was just, I don't know, you're missing Johnny Howson in the likes of that situation. It was a quiet captain, but leads by example, and you feel that presence on the pitch.
Yep, you're right, Dally, because we were by far the better team. You know, we should have just, right, okay, lads, it's a setback, but come on, we're the better team, which we were. But you're right, I didn't see anybody. I was looking through my fingers, to be honest, because I had my head in my hands. But I didn't see anybody sort of like waving their hands to sort of like say, right, come on, knuckle down. We've got to get this back. Yeah, it was almost an acceptance of oh, we made another mistake and we've gifted another goal there. It shouldn't happen. We do need leaders. We do need people to lift individuals. We do need players to lift the team. And it was lacking after that first goal.
Well, that's it. I mean, Dally mentioned there the 6 players that just went straight to the halfway line. I mean, fair enough. I think Lassie Laff was probably just about there anyway. But I get what you're saying. And it was like the back line, we're all looking at each other saying, well, how did that happen? Where you want your leader, like you just said, to not just say, right, that's happened. You wanted to grab them on and say, right, come on, there's the ball. Go fix it. Go again, start again. We didn't have any of that. It was just a bit, it was 11 headless chickens going, I don't know what to do now.
If you're Edmondson or you're Clark or you're Vandenberg, you're any of our centre-backs, you must be. There's no wonder Clark's bald and Edmondson's going bald. You must be pulling your hair because you keeping the, you know, the amount of chances that our attackers are having and not putting away, and then we're getting done 1-2 at the other end, and you think we should be 4-5 ahead. There must be going scatty, and it was dead frustrating to see because you're a team. How many times under Carrick have we gone 1 down, but we've come back and got a result over the 2 years that he's been here? I dare say we've probably gone a goal down more than we've gone a goal up under him.
But do you remember the run of games we went 1-0 down and somehow won 3-1?
Yeah. Where we go 1 down, you must have a fantastic record of going 1 down and getting a result. So at 1 down, you think, okay, we've still got a chance. At 2 down, though, when it comes to the second goal, that was it. Like you say, just before half time, that knocked the stuffing out of them. Changes the team talk, changes everything, changes the mood in the ground.
You're absolutely right, because I mean, I'm going to talk about the atmosphere in a couple of minutes, to be fair, but that second goal, again, I don't know what Edmondson's doing. I mean, it was a feather pass. You knew the man was there, and he still played it. But I'm not pinning it just on him, simply because and this is no way me going, right, it's his fault, it's his fault. There was so much time between them gaining the ball and the ball in the back of the net. There was so many opportunities to cut that out, and we just never. Fair enough, it's a good finish. I get it. It was a really good finish, but it shouldn't happen. And how many? Honestly, Andy Johnson's got in touch on Facebook and said, I haven't seen a good goal against us this season. And you know what? I can't disagree with that. Maybe you've got one.
A good team goal. We've seen good individual finishes, but a good team goal. You're right. We haven't conceded a goal where we've been passed off the park and it's been a nice, cool finish. It's all been down to mainly down to our mistakes or lack of concentration, and we can't afford that to happen. You know, we've got ambitions of promotion, but not at the moment. It doesn't look like we're anywhere near at the moment with the number of mistakes that we are making and the number of chances we're squandering. Those sort of regular features of our play will not result in us getting the results that we need to start climbing the table and to put pressure on the top two. We need to be taking our chances, and to be fair, we're creating enough, and they're not just half chances. We're creating very, very good chances, but we're just not putting them away. Bristol City, 2 or 3 shots on target, 2 goals. Stoke, 5 shots on target, 5 goals. I'm at a loss.
The worrying bit is, you look at our stat, 20 shots on goal we had on Saturday, 2 on target.
Yeah.
That's not good enough.
Yeah.
That's nowhere near good enough. For a team when Carrick came in, I think we finished that season when we got to the playoffs as the top scorers in the league. We scored the most goals because we absolutely went through teams. I remember one game that sticks out was we played Hull at home. We went 1-0 down, a bit like, a bit recurring theme of what we did. We scored 4 goals in 20 minutes. And all of a sudden they went from potentially challenging us for a playoff spot to being blown away, and that was their season done. Because they just couldn't recover. Where's that gone? Nothing massive has changed in the play. Fair enough, the players have changed. But I feel, personally, this squad is the best he's had. There's no excuse for this squad. There's nothing going forward that I think I'm a bit worried about that. We've got goal scorers, we've got playmakers, we've got people that can provide. I'm honestly, I'm struggling with it. I really am struggling with it. I don't know where we find a solution really quick, because we shouldn't have to, because it's all there for us.
Now, like I said earlier, you mentioned about the next 2 games: Sheffield United at home, Norwich away. We have to be looking to get a win and a draw minimum in them two games, and God forbid if we lose both, Carrick will be under severe pressure. Now, I'm not saying it's all down to Carrick, because he can't prevent individual mistakes, unfortunately, and he can't put the ball in the back of the net for our misfiring strikers. But at the end of the day, ultimately, it's him who carries the can. It's his responsibility, and there's been a huge investment at the club, and Gibbo will want to see far better results than what we're achieving.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, Dally, when does the point come where you look at Lassie Laugh and go, it's time to take him out? I mean, we've got players. We've got players on the bench.
I think the time's come. I think Conway's got to be a man up front on Wednesday night. I think he had 2 good chances in that game last week, and I did defend him last week. But if you do the same thing over and over again and it don't work, you know, it's insanity, isn't it? So you've got to try something new, something different. I'd like to see how fit Marcus Forss is. If Conway can't get a couple of goals, at least a goal in the next 2 games. But I think bringing Lath on for the last instead of Bangura, not Bangura,
Bangura.
Yes.
Yeah, I was reading before about McCormack. So we were talking about him in the Gazette. But no, I think if you, it'd be a more imposing substitute come on than Bergson, because nobody seems to want to give him the ball because they don't get it back.
Yeah, Bangura. I mean, I saw Bergson come on, and I was like, why did he come on first? Why was he the first sub? I mean, you said there either Conway or Fort. For me, Wednesday, I'd bang both of them in. You know, that's my little spoiler for later. I'd bang both of them in because I wasn't massively impressed by his ads on Saturday either. I thought he was really, really slow.
The Championship Zidane, right? He was dubbed the Championship Zidane before he even picked the ball.
Not by us.
Honestly.
I like his as. I do. I like his as. I mean, yes, he could have scored at Watford. He should have scored Saturday. But I quite like him. So anyway, that's my cards on the table. But with regards to Lath, you know, I mean, yeah, he missed. You know, he should have even hit the target, and he missed the target. In the first half on Saturday, and then second half, I think it was midway through the second half, the ball comes over the top and the defender goes to head it. He misses it, but Lath didn't gamble of him missing it, and he didn't sort of like put his header onto it. It just sort of hit him in the face and went to the keeper. Now, if he'd have gambled thinking, right, I'm taking this header, and he'd have connected with it, you know, we may have been looking at a different result if that had gone in. But he didn't gamble, and he thought that the ball's not reaching me, and it just bounced off his face into the keeper's hands. So yes, he lacks composure at times. He's low on confidence. So yeah, take him out, get Conway starting.
Well, that's it. I mean, that's why you bring the players in to put pressure on him. You know, Conway would not have come here to be an understudy. There's no way. And for me, you've got, for his own good, take him out, because his confidence, he just doesn't have any confidence anymore. It was a bit like, you know, when he first signed and he was just trying so hard to do something, it just wasn't quite working. And all of a sudden it clicked. That's what it looks like at the moment. It just looks like he is completely shot of anything that's resembling what we saw 6 months ago. You know, how can you go from a striker that scores 13 goals in 12 games to what we've got now? It's astonished me. It really has.
This is how we started last season. This is
Well,
how we started.
You look at last season, you think, wow, it's just signed, new league, everything's a bit new. It's completely different this year. He's been in the league a year. He's had a full pre-season training on him. Fair enough, he's had his head turned by a Premier League club, by the looks of it. Is that what it's come down to? Is that really knocked him that much? He looks a completely different player. And I'm stunned.
Well, they're not going to be back in for him. They're not going to be back in for him either. Let's be honest, the way he's playing at the moment.
No. Is that the plan? Let's give us
so he's not doing himself any favours. If he wants the move, then he bangs the goals in. It benefits us, and it'll get him the move if that's what his wish is.
He's getting in the right positions, but it's the finishing, and it goes back to what we said last week.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Woodgate, who's a defender, a coach. We've got goalkeeping coaches. We've got Carrick and Ledbetter, who are midfielders. We haven't got a striking coach.
Nope.
You know, is there someone, you know, the kind of approach we touched on, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, for an example? Come in, Jimmy, till the end of till Christmas, do a couple of months coaching with him, just show him up at the back of the net. You know, are there any drills you can do that will bring the confidence back to them? Are there any little tweaks you would make? Just something, just to help him.
Something's not right. Something just doesn't feel right. Jason said Rudiger instead is close to getting blocked for that, and that's horrendous. I mean, come on, dear God. But something needs to be changed. I put something on social media Saturday night. I mentioned we've talked about it before, haven't we? And people are going to listen and go, "Oh, not again!" Right? Aaron Danks left in the summer, right? For me, when see, I'm doing it. When Carrick turns round and sees his backroom staff, is any one of them going to look at him and go, "You should be doing that more than you're doing that"? Well, why are you waiting 75 minutes to put Bradley Agree on the pitch? Shouldn't you come on 20 minutes ago? Aaron Danks did that. He was in his ear constantly. Obviously, we don't know what conversations were being had. He could be asking what he was having for his tea that night. I don't know. But something was obviously being said because them changes were made when Danks was there and it benefited the team. I just think he's waiting too late to make them. 70 minutes is not the time to do it.
Well, I did see some replies to that tweet that you put out, and some of them were saying, but we had a terrible start last season. Yes, we did, because there was so many new players trying to bed into the team that, you know, we just didn't it didn't click for us. It took Southampton to get our first win, and we gradually improved, but then we ended the season like a house on fire. You know, we steamrolled teams. I don't know what input Aaron Danks had in regards to team selection, tactics, whatever. But if people say, well, Danks isn't a miss because of our start to last season, well, I'll put that down to possibly such a turnover of personnel, and we had to get them all to bed in, to settle in. So I'm not, like I say, I'm not saying we miss Danks or we don't miss Danks, but I'm just giving an alternative opinion that our poor start of the season was possibly down to all the changes we made.
Yeah, you're right. And that's the thing. It's all about opinions. You know, everybody's got different ones. You know, everybody has the same opinion. And I put it to them people as well. When things did change against Southampton, didn't we make a tweak in how we played and how we approached that game? How do we know that Aaron Danks didn't say to him on the Thursday or Wednesday, whenever it is they have that meeting, make that little change? Because I think that's when we really started. Instead of going three up top, we started to drag it back a bit, and it worked. And we put McGree behind the striker, and it worked. How do we know that wasn't his suggestion?
Well, McGree is number 10 on Wednesday night. Just leave the left back at home. Mate, Borges, he's not Brazilian, is he? I'm sorry. I've seen some footballers in my time who, I mean, Brazilian, nah. I think he must have won a competition, genuinely, because I just don't see anything. I don't mean to be cruel to the lad, but people slated.
Yeah, you don't mean to be, but you are going to be.
But I'm going to be, yeah, no. I'm thinking his name on Sunday, so don't worry about it. And on Wednesday night, but.
Oh my God.
No, I just no. We had Fabio as a Brazilian fullback, and you could see a little bit of flair in him. You know, this lad's never been, you know, south of bloody South Bank. He's. I think that the grief that was his name Thomas, who came on loan last season from Leicester. Thomas, yeah. The grief he got compared to Borges was unbelievable, and I think he was a better player. And he wasn't even particularly fantastic in his time on loan here. I wanted to work for him, but I think he cost us quite a lot, and he doesn't give me much confidence at all. If you couldn't tell, but it was a bit much.
It was George Friend's birthday, wasn't it? The weekend, 37, and he's probably going back over our left backs who the club have bought and who are our players, not loan players. We haven't had anyone as good since he left, have we? In the left back position, it's been a real problem position for us.
Yeah, it has. You're absolutely right. It's difficult to say Daly's wrong, because I thought Borges, he wasn't particularly awful, but he didn't really do anything of note, did he? I don't know. It doesn't fill me with confidence to be like Daly. I'm not filled massively with confidence. So, young lads just signed his new contract today. Do we stick?
Yeah.
I've seen. We saw him pre-season. He came. He's come on a couple of times as well during the season. Do we stick George McCormick in?
Yeah. How did Isaiah Jones get it? Isaiah Jones got his chance a few years ago and flourished in the team. You know, we can go back to so many different players who've come from our academy. If they rate him high enough to put a contract in front of him, there's got to be something there. And let's be honest, you know, Hartlepool have had less managers than we've had left backs in the last couple of weeks, last couple of years. They change the manager every bloody 2 months. You know, that position's there for him to go and grab that shirt and make it his own.
No, you're right. You are absolutely right. It's a very problematic area. It's probably the only problem area we've got on the pitch, because if we have an issue in any starting 11 we have, there's someone on the bench that can probably solve that problem. You know, we've got, you know, last not firing. We've potentially got someone that can come on and score goals. You know, the wingers aren't producing it out wide. We've got someone to come in and do that. Defenders not quite, you know, doing the job. We've got centre backs to bring on. You know, you can see where I'm getting that position. We just haven't fixed it, and we all screamed for one player to come in the summer, and we didn't. We've moved on from him. But I'm putting it on the table. Do we go back in January and say, can we have that conversation again, please? Or am I talking?
Well, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows what the club will do? But like you said, they've shown a lot of faith in George McCormick by offering him a long contract. So is he ready? Yeah, let's go. Would he be as vulnerable in certain positions at left back that previous left backs for us have left open? You know, Lucas Engel, he had his issues. Neto Borges, I know it's only early at the Borough, but you know, you need him to be a bit more consistent. I mean, he was turned inside out several times at Sunderland by Patrick Roberts, and anybody who's done any homework on Patrick Roberts would know exactly what he does. But Neto Borges let him cut inside time and time again. So is it the time to try McCormick? Possibly.
Yeah. You know, the old saying goes, isn't it? If you're old enough, you're good enough. You know, or you're good enough, you're old enough. You know what I mean? Stick him in. Let's give him a go from the start. See what happens. You know, we went to Harrogate in pre-season. Yes, it's only Harrogate. I fully get that. He played there. I thought he was all right. I thought he was solid enough. He knew, but yeah, just give him a go. Give him a go. I'm sick of moaning about left backs. Just give him a go. Let's see what we can do. But it's honestly, it's such a problem position. I don't know how we haven't got a fix for it yet. You know, we seem to have got every other place right in the pitch, all 10 positions. It's just that one that we've got wrong. So, but we'll finish this bit off. I'll start with you. I dare to say this, man of the matches, because I want to talk about the atmosphere on Saturday as well. So, John, I'll start with your man of the match Saturday.
I thought Edmondson had a solid game. I know he was responsible for the second goal. I thought Edmondson done well, and you could see how distraught he was upon making that mistake, and that it led to the second goal. even even at the halftime whistle, you know, he was traipsing off, and his head was down. Like I say, it was a worst possible situation to end a half in. But I still thought he done okay. I thought Van den Berg done well, you know. And again, at the end of the game, he was one of the very few who applauded the crowd. And yeah, his shoulders were slumped. It affects him. He's an absolute he's a diamond in this team, and I think he takes defeats badly. So you know, I hope that we can improve so that we have a better chance of keeping such a good player at the club.
Yeah, there you go. Dally, come here.
Errol Borges. I'll go Van den. Yeah, I love Van den Berg a lot. Him and Edmondson at the back. I thought they did all right.
Yeah. I'd probably say Van den Berg. He got the captain's armband, didn't he, as well? Halfway through the second half, he got it off from Ayling. So, I mean, the fact that, you know, he's getting that at a young age, that says everything for me as well. He's the leader for the future. I don't think he's the big voice we need now. We need Lenihan back, that's all I'm saying. Lenihan would have been absolutely through that team. But, I mean, you know, I can't remember what pre-season game it was. It was last season. And you just heard him screaming I think it was Tommy Smith. He was telling Tommy Smith where to stand, where to move, and I thought Tommy Smith's he's a seasoned professional, and he still has the balls to tell you will stand there. That's the type of leader we need, but yeah, it's frustrating. Saturday was so frustrating. I left the ground so deflated. It was awful. Right, before I ask you about the two games coming up, I want to talk about the atmosphere Saturday. First things, the display was really good. It looked good. The little tribute to Liam Manning's son in the corner from both sides was well received, was well thought of, superb. The atmosphere, though, there's a lot of people that say, you know, you always think beginning of the game, the atmosphere is always up and ready and good. I didn't feel it Saturday. I thought it was very quiet and very, especially after that missed chance from Latif. I felt that was the moment the atmosphere went, because it was like everyone looked at each other and went, "We possibly know what's going to happen here." Am I wrong, John? I'll start with you.
No, I didn't think the atmosphere was as good as it has been previous games. Now, I can't really understand why, you know, because I know we'd had a defeat at Watford before the international break, but we were back at home. It was a decent sized crowd.
Yeah.
You know, we started brightly. We looked good. We looked threatening. I thought, I thought the atmosphere would have been better, but it wasn't. It wasn't throughout the ground. You know, normally you get where we are in the North Stand. We bounce off the south, and you can feel, you know, that the atmosphere is going to be a good one, but it wasn't there. I couldn't put my finger on why. I don't know. Maybe it was a bit of tension. Maybe it was a bit of I don't know. Frustration.
The atmosphere is always better when you win it. Watford away this year.
Of course.
The away end at Watford was the best away end I've been in, barring Leeds this season. As soon as you got in the seat, 15 minutes before kick-off, the away end was rocking. But we'd come we'd just come off two wins, going in really confident. We've then been beaten there. We've had 2 weeks to mull on it, and it was kind of like we were still hungover even after 2 weeks, and there was that feeling still.
We're nervous at home, aren't we? The fans are a little bit
Yeah.
nervous at home because it's not the fortress that we want it to be. It's not. We're not undefeatable at home, but far from it. And yes, there's a little bit of nerves that maybe that's affecting the atmosphere.
I mean, we could go off on a different tangent, and obviously we're not going to. I think what the Red Faction have done has been over the years. The atmosphere has been brilliant. At the minute, that move to behind the goal, which I can totally see why they did it. You know, they're not the best seats in the house. In all fairness, they're right behind the net. At the minute, it hasn't quite come off. I think where they were before, when they were banging the drum, it echoed and it gave that, you know, everybody would get involved. I know it was quiet from where we were the other day in the South Stand, but again, I'm hoping it's just a bit of a hangover from the Watford game, because they've done some fantastic work, and it's brilliant when all ends of the ground are at it. So, you know, if people can, you know, help them out, get behind them, and you know, in the North Stand, help us out and get the atmosphere back to where it is, because, you know, you need to give the team that extra push. I think the first goal, I think if we'd scored that goal early on, we've let it off a different atmosphere, to different game.
Yeah.
We're saying, what a great result, what a great win, and here wasn't the atmosphere good. But
absolutely,
we all want the same thing, and I'm sure it'll come again.
Yeah.
I mean, Dally's right. I mean, I think I said it was a bit. There was a bit of nerves with fans, and I think it is. I mean, take the lead, and every game, barring Preston this season, where we took the lead, we've gone on to win. Take the lead and really sort of like give the crowd something to shout about, as it is, because our home form isn't brilliant. There's a little bit of nervousness there, and obviously we know the record that Bristol City have up here is quite good. So yeah, that is, chance gets buried, and it's a different game, different atmosphere, and we're not as down as we are at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you know, me posing these questions about the atmosphere is not a dig at absolutely anyone. It really isn't, because I fully back what he's just said. You know, what we do in the North Stand, you know, we've added a bit to what we do. The South Stand, the Red Faction have been absolutely unbelievable. Turning that from a half-empty stand to full every week is incredible. The atmosphere is always good. And I'm with you. I just hope it's a bit of a hangover from a disappointing defeat in the way it happened at Watford, and a bit of nervousness at home, because we haven't quite hit the ground running at home as we did, you know, last season, year before. You know, when we got them wins together, we just haven't got there yet. But I don't sit down for games. I sat down Saturday, and I just, which is really weird, because I was like, this doesn't feel right. I just thought the atmosphere was a bit flat, and as soon as the first goal went in, and you just saw whatever atmosphere was left go straight through the roof.
I think Wednesday night atmosphere, really, in my eyes, I think it should take care of itself. We've got Wonder Eye coming back, haven't we? In Wilder, and you know, there's a bit of spice there. They'll bring a good crowd, a good away crowd, a good vocal away crowd. You know, not too far to travel. You know, I think it's an 8 o'clock kickoff. It's under the lights. It's different. So I'm thinking it'll be a good atmosphere either way. You know, they've got a good team, Sheff United. You know, you look at the business they've done to get Hamer and O'Hare. I think it'll make it for a good game. So I think the atmosphere, you know, okay, we got beat, but I think given those extra factors, especially the Wilder factor, I'd like to think the atmosphere will be a little bit different for Wednesday night.
I hope
well,
so.
The thing is, you know, the team need us now, don't they? You know, because without the crowd, you know, it makes it even more of a difficult game for them. yeah, we all need to be sort of like pulling in the same direction. Okay, we're here now. We're talking about our frustration, our disappointment, and how this player done that, this player didn't do that. But that's after the game. You know, you can talk all you like after the game, but during the game, during the 0 to 90 or 95, whatever, you need to sort of get behind the team and play your part. We've got to play our part as fans. Because we all want the same outcome. We want results to improve. We want to climb up the table, and our aspiration is to get promotion. And that won't happen without the help of a good vocal support.
I couldn't agree more. I completely agree. And that's where it starts, doesn't it? It starts Wednesday. You know, I said on social media at the weekend, you put a line firmly through what happened at Bristol City, and people were like, "No, we've been doing it all season, doing it." My point was, you put a line through it because you say, right, it stops here. This is the point it stops. We start game one against Sheffield United, where if you want any motivation, just look in the opposite dugout. Chris Wilder, Alan Nill, the whole backroom team. They were the ones at the Borough. They were the ones that when we needed someone to lead us to the playoffs, he was too busy looking at Bournemouth and Burnley looking at him. You know what I mean? We didn't want that. I mean, how long did it take us to get to Bournemouth that day? It took us a good 6.5 hours, you know, to get down there. To get down there to hear Wilder go, you don't need to ask me that. You don't need to ask me that. Well, how about you just put your money where your mouth is, cut the crap out and say, I'm manager of Middlesbrough Football Club. Every question, every doubt would have gone. Simple as that. And since then, he's just left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm struggling not to swear here. I'm really am.
He had the club in the palm of his hand. He came in, you know, Warnock steered us, you know, out of danger. The way he came in, you know, you could say it was a bit distasteful when the club had, you know, they're doing press conferences while Warnock hasn't even cleared his desk, and you know there was a little bit of that. But he got us playing a bit of football. You know, we'll never forget Man United away in the cup. You know, winning on penalties. There's some memorable, you know, Tottenham in the FA Cup. We had some good nights. He had that ground rocking. There was the you know, the old Wilder said song. It just fit. But it was never enough for him. He thought he was, because he left the Premier League team, he'd survived 1 year in the Premier League, and the second year he got the bullet. He thought the Premier League team would come in for him. He was still in available when we were looking for a manager in the October. He's come here thinking it'll be a quick turnaround, and off he goes. I mean, Christ, he was even sat at Burnley waiting for them to offer him something. He was pictured there. He went down massively in everyone's estimations, and it was a difficult one to take. You know, we were there at Coventry away. It was an absolute stinker of a performance,
awful that.
And I was quite happy to see the back of him. You know, after that, you know, with all the
even Sol I'm sorry, say that again, Steve.
Just to put a bit of a light, because this is very serious. Was that when I found Fletcher under the bus?
That could have been one of any weeks, to be honest. I mean, even Sol Bamba called Chris Wilder out, didn't he? You know, he told him what he should have done. But anyway, I just hope that when he comes on Wednesday, that no reporters are doing sandwiches when they're doing the press conference, the post-match press conference, because he won't be a happy chap, will he?
No. And I hope he isn't. And that brings us to what we think will happen in our predictions. You know, we've said, you know, this player, that player should start. You know, whatever happens on Wednesday. We'll be right behind him. I'll start with you, John Don. Your prediction for Sheffield United?
1-0 Middlesbrough.
Lovely. Goal scorer.
And the goal scorer, Riley McGree.
I like that. Dally, come to you. 1-1. Who's your goal scorer?
1-1. the development player force.
Oh, you've absolutely nicked my line. I've gone 1-0 and the development player to give it both barrels to Wilder when he scores. Yeah, I've gone 1-0 Marcus Force.
And then it's you're in front of Wilder.
By the way, something's just triggered in my head there when you said development player. Is Gilbert injured or did he go on loan?
He didn't go out on loan, but I don't know where he's gone.
Can he play left back? Matthew Hop.
Yeah. When you said development player there, I don't know why Gilbert couldn't be heading. I thought, well, where is he?
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's something we'll have to look into and see what's happened with him. But
as long as that's there, it's Sammy Amiobi's he'll be back.
He might do a Matt Clark. He disappeared for a year. But
Dale Fry.
Yeah, where's Dale Fry? But yeah, 1-0 Marcus Force. And if Marcus Force doesn't start, Tommy Conway to get the winner. I just think we'll nick it Wednesday. It'll be one of those scrappy games. I didn't think much to Sheff United on Friday night when I saw them. I just thought they were a bit like us. They had everything in between both boxes and then absolutely nothing. And they just didn't look great. And then that moves us to Sunday. Norwich away. Bit of an early start, but I'm looking forward to it. First away day since August, so I can't wait. So,
have you got a message? Have you got a message for any travelling fans, Steve?
Yes, put your clocks back. Put your clocks back. Don't turn up too early or too late, whichever it may be. Yes, put your clocks back. The clocks go back Sunday. One of us thought we went forward. I won't say which one it is, but it weren't me. But yes, put your clocks back. There you go. Sorry, Gary, you've been dropped in.
So what happens with the clock?
Or if you play and refuse to put your clock back, game kicks off at 4:00. Think of it that way. There you go. You'll get there. So, Dali, I'll start with you. I imagine you're probably going to go 1-1 again.
1-1. No, yeah, why not? We'll go 1-1. We'll have 2 draws. Be undefeated by the end of the week. Agree.
Okay. John Don?
3-0 Butter.
Are you all right?
Marcus Force.
3-0 Borough.
Yeah. Well, listen, we had no luck again with the charity bets, so we need to make some money. So a 3-0 away win with Marcus Force getting the first goal, that's bound to be good odds. I'm just thinking of the kitty, that's all.
I got the 2 right. I just didn't get the 4 bit right. I'm going 2-2. Desmond. And I've wrote Rav Vandenberg to get a goal. Which will be his
good.
Second or third goal. He's not a prolific scorer, but yeah, Vandenberg, that'll get the kitty up if that comes in. But would I swap that for a Borough win? Absolutely. No ifs or buts. So, charity bets are always good, but I'd rather see Borough get 6 points. But yes, so that's it for us this week. If you go on Wednesday, and back the team, don't go with. I wonder how long it'll take us to muck this up. Just get behind him. Just look in the opposition dugout. That's all you got to do. Just look at him. Just take one good look at him, and realise all the hate comes back because he's a right
slime ball.
Yes. Wow, that's a great word.
Yeah,
that's a great word. We'll use that. Better the word I was going to use. So yes, that. And just get behind the team. The lads are bereft of confidence. They probably need a bit of a pick-me-up, and a decent crowd at Riverside backing them. We're always good under the lights. That's when we thrive. So, fingers crossed, turn up on Wednesday, have fun. If you go to Norwich on Sunday, kick off's 4:00 if you're not going to put your clocks back. Just think of it that way. But I'll leave it there. If I see you all during the week and at the weekend, and we'll talk again next week. Arrivederci, up the borough, be
Up the
safe.
borough.
Up the butter. Cheers, lads. Come on, you.